Live from the Real Guppy Dockside Learning and Multimedia Center. It's the Real Angler Podcast with community Kevin Brannon. Brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Island Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. And now, here's your host, Community Kevin Brannon. Today's guest, Annette Garcia, founder and executive director of Nettie's Fit Fitness and A Heart of an Angel.
What up? Good morning. And this is Community Kev with our friend Annette Garcia from Nettie Talks. And you might have seen her on recent episodes about her nonprofit Heart of an Angel. But today we're going to talk about Nettie Fit, because I've been encouraging my good friend here on how we can have a for-profit and a nonprofit as founders, because there's opportunity. She's the one that helped me understand about me getting my teaching credential, and she has her teaching credential, even though she's a nonprofit director and started it from her heart. But how do we make a living as people in Southern California and be servants at the same time? We both have faith and we want to be servants, and sometimes a nonprofit and the work that we do, for us to be compensated correctly for business owners, is where you find yourself kind of underbidding yourself. How's that, right? Or undervaluing the work that you're bringing, because a lot of people think because you have a nonprofit, or people's perception of what a nonprofit is, that you should be giving everything away, or how hard it is to get grants, or the restrictions that go along with when you are a nonprofit versus a for-profit. And so again, Annette Garcia is here. Barry, say hello. Hello, Annette. What up?
Hey, what up? Hey, Kevin. It's always good to just have the conversations. There's so much going on. So yeah.
Well, you keep it going real quick while I make our little Instagram video. But tell us how you've been. What's going on? What's the newest, latest?
Well, I've been good, really good. You know, as Kevin said, we're both founders of nonprofit organizations and for-profit. So we're launching Nettie Fit Fitness, which is our for-profit side. But before I get started on that, I wanted to just let you know what has been happening with A Heart of an Angel and how we finished off the year last year. We had a great opportunity to work with Carpenter Unified School District, and we served there for 3 years. And it was an amazing 3 years since 2022. And we wrapped it up this year in January, teaching the after-school program with TK through second, third graders. And it was just a really good season. And got a lot of good positive feedback from the parents and the teachers. I mean, you know, there's just something about that. I just want to say that as a servant and working with kids, you know, I hear all the time from people saying, oh, thanks for the work that you do. And I just want to say those kids are my teachers. I learn from them every single day. And imagine walking into a school and seeing hundreds of kids every day, and they're just almost knocking you down. Miss Annette, with just hugs and flooding you with admiration, and just, you know, they're being impacted in so many ways that you don't even know, but they are also impacting me and serving my heart as well, and feeding my heart and fulfilling my spirit, for sure.
When they say, Kevin, those kids need you, I'm like, I need those kids too. It helps me stay on the straight and narrow,
so much.
You know, because I remember walking on Sunkist Elementary School, and they'd be like, Kevin's here, and they would be on the black, because I'd walk to like the portals on the side of the school where the 4th and 5th graders, like during a recess of the other school, and they would just come run and they would stop. I remember when one other vendor was teaching dance, a friend of mine that helped me get into the school. Like, basically what I'm showing you, Annette, is what a friend of mine, Maria, showed me when I was doing dancing in school, right? So she laid out her MOU to me so I could see how to modify it for what I'm doing. Same thing. All I'm doing is just passing on what somebody helped me get in the door with, right?
I don't. Yeah.
Now she was doing dance, and the kids took off running to me, and she's like, they don't ever do that for me when I show up. So I know exactly what you mean. But also, you know, we'd be at the Wainini Beach Festival. You'd be at the grocery store, and kids would come up and tell me, even my Uncle Dave's rod building. But what that helped me do was making sure that even I'm elevating my game on my professionalism or being watched, because you know, before I would fight me being a role model because of, you know, my past or whatever, and like, nah, I don't want to roll. If I'm drinking a 40 at the beach, or my low rider chilling, my tattoos out, like, I don't want nobody scrutinizing me. So I'm just here to be a servant and help these kids. And then I had mentors be like, nah, bro, you're a lot more than that. And I was just like stubborn with it. And then when that hit me, you know, what you're talking about, it made me want to elevate and say, man, I need those kids just as much, because I am setting an example in how impactful you are. But I had to experience it versus somebody just telling me that.
Yeah.
You know, because that's another topic, right? Where we have self-talk for ourselves. And that's a lot of stuff that you teach with these kids, right?
Yeah.
The self-talk and how they accomplish it. And
power of words, affirmations. I am loved. I am smart. I am strong. I'm
it's
amazing.
On my door. You know, I got your sticker on my door now.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I can say to the kids, it's really awesome. I can say, just say, I am to the kids.
Did you bring any stickers?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'll say, I am, and they'll finish it for me. I am loved. I am smart. I am strong. I'm amazing. And then I ask them when, and they say every day.
Every day.
I go, that's right. Not just when you're at fit camp. So here's some of my stickers.
I got some on the door, but here I just want to put one up there where people could see it that are watching it.
Right, and that's I am smart, I am strong, and I am amazing.
So again, imagine. So this is important. What I mean, when people would tell me, "Hey, Kev, you're going to be a role model," I had told myself different things than this growing up in foster systems and where I lived in, things that I did, and utilizing that, a product of my environment, you know. So I did a presentation at the university over the weekend, and I brought these two crutches out, and I put excuses on one crutch and blame on the other. And I'm like, which one am I limping around on? You know, which one am I? Oh, product of your environment. That's an excuse, right? Because I didn't tell myself that, you know, or failed the proficiency test in 5th and 7th grade, and I flunked the 3rd grade, and I dropped out of the spelling bee as soon as they went around the room the first time. So I am smart went out the window, right? I was a fat kid. I ain't strong. I'm a fat, overweight, obese kid. I think when they did my body fat composition, I was like 257, morbidly obese, right? Am I loved? I don't know. I feel abandoned, right? I feel like I'm in this foster care. Who loves me? I'm just a bastard kid. Excuse my language, but that's what I would tell myself. And then amazing.
Self-talk.
That was, I don't know. We didn't get to that part, but those are things again. So the importance of you planting these seeds and telling them that. And then another thing that she has here is her butterfly. And we talk about transformation, right? Sometimes people clip the wings of kids and then you become an adult with your wings clipped. And that stuff's what carries on you, those fears, those insecurities, that self-talk at an early age that starts there. So when somebody like Annette or myself come along and really try to continue to cultivate and foster that positivity, man, it's great, because kids are so influential and they're oblivious to they can't. Right? They're told they can't.
And so my dad.
Well, let me ask you, sorry. Like helicopter parenting. We'll get into that, right? When the parents, and sometimes it's not there, it's from maybe a place they think is love, but it's a suppressant.
Yes, because what happens we can talk about that. That would do a whole nother thing. But what happens when you do too much helicopter and totally manage your kids is that they become fear-based and they don't want to try anything. They're just afraid of everything. I've had kids come to our class where they've never climbed a tree or they've never done certain things. And one of the things I say, hey, when you come to fit camp, you might fall, you might get a bump, you might get a bruise, and you might even bleed.
Hey, because somebody took out the monkey bars. They're like, let's get rid of those. So the kids forgot, you know, those some of that stuff. It's interesting. They got to bring that stuff back.
Yeah,
it's like those things are little confidence builders and letting that kid try to be amazing on their own, right?
Yep.
And somebody decided, hey, let's get together in a meeting and say, hey, let's get rid of this dangerous equipment that's on these blacktops, you know?
Yeah.
And
I love those old videos that come out of those old metal things that those merry-go-rounds,
metal slide that you can fry an egg on.
All those
burn yourself.
Things hey, listen, I know that sometimes I got the biggest lesson from my nephew when he was 2 years old. I took him to the Santa Barbara Zoo and I was helicopter parenting him and I got schooled up by a 2-year-old. He said, Auntie Net, I'm okay. I was like, ooh. Yeah. So if you just watch kids, they are stronger than you think. So the point is let them fall, let them do the things, and let them experience things, because that's how they build their confidence. That's how they learn how to problem solve. If they're always afraid to do everything, then they aren't going to try anything new, and that follows them.
How are you going to be amazing if you don't try?
That's going to follow them in their lives. Sometimes when the kids fall during an obstacle course or whatever, I'll watch them and they'll get up and I'll say, good recovery, encouraging them, because they're waiting to see how we're going to respond, whether us as teachers,
we had
educators,
a kid on the pier
parents,
on Sunday. He ate it, man. He was running on the pier and he ate it and he jumped up like, I'm okay, real quick. And I was like, because they get little splinters in their finger and stuff. And they're like, bro, you don't need need to be helicopter lifted off the pier, man. You're not dying. It's
You're
just
all right.
It's a little tiny splinter. So you have, some kids that are just that they're like, no problem.
Kids,
and the other kid like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Well, kids are resilient, and they're waiting to see what you're going to do as well.
And their bones don't, and they could fall and tumble, and their bones don't break as easy as adults.
Because they're still little, right? And they are even capable of leading. I have 5-year-olds leading each other in class, and not only are they leading the class and doing the things that they've watched Miss Annette do in the class, but the children, the other children, like, they listen.
Yeah. Let me give you. I don't know if you heard this story about our program. So, Kevin Jr., Unique, all the little guppies that were there at the beginning.
Little guppies.
Yeah, the reason we got the word guppy was because we'd give them a video camera to film at the kid fishing day. It was the Real English Kids Fishing Day.
Love it.
I tell my kids, look, you guys are coming out to be my first I want you guys to be servants and volunteers. You get to fish all the time.
Yeah.
You guys are the ones that are going to be helping us with these kids. But when the kid would see Kevin Jr. grab a crab or do something, he was already leading them and help bring down their fear.
That's
so
right.
and I kind of attribute it to the Caesar Milian. I used to call it that. I've been doing this for so long that some of the stories I tell now, I have outweighed stories that have really cool meaning, because you're telling a different version or a newer version. But it was like Caesar Milian with the dog, he had his little pack.
Whisper.
Right. And then the dog that didn't know what, those other dogs helped the one that was, they needed a little bit more whispering to kind of come and be one of the pack, right? So he was using other dogs to help them. So when you give kids responsibility, other kids see them doing it, it makes them feel fearless. And then it wasn't a bunch of adults always telling the kids what to do either, right? There were these youngsters that were doing it. So this last Kids Day on the last Sunday, Mateo and TJ, that little Guppy Rangers, he had his little badge on his hat, his baseball hat, or his thing, and then he has his little Guppy Ranger or Guppy stickers on his baseball helmets. Dude, he took over, and he's got to be 8 years old. He did the crab nets. He was cutting bait. He was tying knots and stuff for people.
You can see who the little leaders are.
But we gave him the opportunity, right? Yeah. He showed up ready to take over. So again, if you're listening to this and you're a parent and you're always a little fearful, or if you're an adult that your parents had you feared out and you're afraid to try something. And our new slogan, I don't know if you heard this about Real Guppies, is there's a kid in all of us. So that way you don't have to be a kid to come out with us anymore. Like if you're in your elderly age and you've never been fishing and you want to, or you did it when you were younger and you want to get back into it, that there's a kid in all of us. So because and this is some of the healing stuff that we talk about, is that some of these adults, and myself included in this, some of the things that motivate us and move us now are still some of the things that we're dealing with. 8-year-old Kev.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
yes, little Nettie.
So let's transition into Nettie right now. Tell us what's going on and with Nettie Fitness and what that is. And
yeah, well, Nettie Fitness has been something that's been on my heart for a while. Like, I want to get kids, not just kids, but like all people moving. Like, we all need to move our bodies. So Nettie Fitness is, I've been a certified personal trainer for, we'll just say, a long time. I don't want to give my age away, but any case, I've been, on another note, I've been wanting to help with all kinds of different organizations and just different help other people.
Healthy habits and stuff, right? And
wellness, wellness, just everything, like just moving your body. But on a for-profit side, like all of the things that have been coined and all of the things that A Heart of an Angel has become, and all of the lessons that we've become, move it into a for-profit
Did you have
situation.
One first? Did you have Nettie Fit and you put that on pause while you did Heart of an Angel? Kind of like when I did Real English Fishing Show.
Yes.
And then Real Guppies kind of took over, but me being an educator and a filmmaker was kind of on pause. But again, if you watch Real Anglers old school fishing days, fishing videos, the whole thing is to get more Joes and Janes to get out fishing.
Nice.
Then we just added kids because a kid in my neighborhood's like, I wish somebody would take me fishing. But the same fundamentals of getting first-time fishermen out on the water to come on a sport boat or something, that was the same motto. But the Guppies just kind of took over my time and energy while that sat there. So you had your...
Yeah, well, Nettie Fitness has been, been on the rise, or on the, in the background for a really long time. I've always had fitness in my life since I was a teenager. We all have a story about our background.
Did you compete a little bit too?
Yeah, I did. I competed in Fitness America pageant, and I did a couple more pageants after that, and did some fitness competitions, and had my body in optimum shape, and did all the strict dieting and just leaned out and all that stuff.
Didn't I try to do legs with you?
Yeah, we did legs. Okay, here's a great story.
This is a great
story. It's a great story. Okay. Kevin, first of all, I just want to say I love you, Kevin.
I love you too.
Okay, so Kevin's like, yeah, let's work out, and I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's train together. Let's do legs. So this guy, he's going hard on legs, man. And he's pushing me, and we're pushing each other because we're both kind of alpha a little bit. So we're both pushing each other. All right, keep it going. So a couple days later, 3 days later, he reaches out and he's like, yeah, like I got a confession to make. Like, first of all, I hate legs.
Confession.
I hate doing legs, first of all, and second of all, I couldn't even walk. Like, I haven't done legs in so long.
Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, because part of Kevin talking about little Kev, I know punk filter comes out, right? So I can't be in the gym calling somebody out and getting punked. So I might have let you take my ego might have pushed me further to work out with you than I would normally do on my own leg workout.
Yeah, it was fun.
But then we went back and did chest, right? And
we worked out chest during COVID. Actually, we were outside at the Gold, so we've trained a couple times together. But it's funny to get to.
And it's cool because you work out with me. You gotta because I train. People are like, I want to work out with you one day, right? So some people come to work out with me, but the level that again, when it's my time to train, I'm a beast. So when you see another beast, you trying to go at it. So that was kind of cool, man, because some people, nothing wrong with it. It's just, you got to know your level, man. I remember one time I took Kevin Jr. to the gym and he told me the next day, I felt like he got hit by a bus. I forgot he was only 13 and I put him, he did every exercise at his weight, but his little body wasn't, he was not conditioned properly to handle that work. But now he's coming at me talking about, Dad, we're going to do my arms are bigger than yours. And I'm like, boy, I hate to. Anyway, enough of that. So back to Nettie Fit.
Nettie Fit Fitness has also been something like I used to have a fitness thing called, oh gosh, in the long time ago. So I was training people a long time ago. So I've always had fitness has always been part of my life for a very, very long time. And I really wanted to share fitness with people because how it impacted my life. I think truly it's been like my therapy because I've been in the gym my whole life. And I know that when I'm training, I feel better, not just feeling better, but just my moods, just the whole thing. Like when you're eating better, you're moving better, you're just operating better in your life. So I wanted to share that with people, like all people. And
at their different levels, like you do it, you know what I mean? Like
all
the way
levels.
the way me and you went at it battling isn't how you train people. No. So if you're a little intimidated or scared, like, oh my God, I don't want to work out with that person that's super athletic because I don't meet the criteria to be. You're with your way you train in fitness and wanting to just get people moving. You don't come in like and hit them the way that me and you hit it on our own time.
No, because I want them to want to come back and not be like they can't get up and down the stairs.
I've seen trainers do that where they just annihilate the person to tell them to make them show they're out of shape. Sometimes on an assessment, and it's like that's when I got certified. Our case studies, grandma's 65, a kid's fit. Like again, I put little Kev through a training session but he wanted the smoke, so he got it. But but when you're training them, just for people that are listening, that Annette and the way that her style is meeting you where you're at.
That's right.
Because everybody's goals are different, right?
Absolutely.
Obviously, she's working with kids. She's looking at a fitness level. She's not like, you little punks, give me 50 push-ups now,
Right. And I just worked with a lady, a good friend of mine from one of my public speaking clubs, and I worked with her, and she gave me the greatest compliment. She said, Annette, I've worked out with a lot of people over 30 years. She goes, you're like the best trainer I've ever had. And I said, oh, that's awesome. Like, why? What was different? She goes, well, first of all, you asked me about my background. You asked me about my medical history. You asked me about, if there's anything bothering me. You asked me about my goal. Like you really asked me a lot of things so that you could help me with my workout. And the workout that you put me through was just the perfect amount of what I needed. And I said, awesome. I appreciate that feedback. So Nettie Fit Fitness, there's a lot of places that a Heart of an Angel serves in the community, but there's a lot of places that are opportunities for me to bring that same thing and train in those levels so that Annette Garcia can start getting, a little bit of income as well.
Well, you're doing both of what you love. You're passionate, right? The kids are where your heart is at.
Yeah.
So you got that, right? But but your heart is really a servant. It's just a matter of so Annette helped me through the process of me trying to get my teaching credential. I just sent back my last letter to the state because some run-in with the police that I had in 2001. I had to clarify on paper what that was. But you're the one that said, go down there to the CTE and get your teaching credential and walk it through. So she's an educator, not just a director of a nonprofit, just like myself. And for me to try to continue to remind her of that because she put so much into Heart of an Angel in the nonprofit life and how hard it is to get funding and little bits of funding because you're a smaller nonprofit, so you don't get the big checks with 2 commas,
Yeah.
But she could see her value and that there are places for her to be in the educational background with. You don't need to be a nonprofit to go into a school. You might need to be a nonprofit to write a grant. So if you have a value in both,
organizations that are nonprofits.
Well, some of them you do. Some of them, again, you're a vendor. They write an MOU. They don't care how they write it. As long as they have a budget that they have to cover a service. They're not forced to say you only can work with nonprofits unless it says that. They get funding. So let's say I'm a nonprofit, right? I get money. I have to pay Island Packers to take me on a boat. They're not a nonprofit. I get funding to pay for services rendered.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to be a nonprofit to work with a nonprofit or do that. And then that's background or certificates or training, just trying to be like, we met at coffee for coffee the other day, and I was like, where's your brochure? Get it together. The reason why is because I just got information about a vendor that I can become a vendor outside of what we're doing with probation for me to be a teacher and an educator. So I want to pass that along to Annette so that she could go in and get and do that work because there's funding for it in Title I. Title I doesn't mean you have to do that. Or nowadays with people trying to stay fit at work or whatever, that she could go in the office and do some stuff in your office to make sure your employees have fitness, and because healthy employees don't call out sick.
Yeah, I do radio spots with one of our friends, our mutual friends, and I do little fitness tips on the radio.
Yeah, so just to get her to really capitalize on her full scale and scope of what she has versus thinking because you want to serve these kids, you have to stay in this little box. And if I know Nettie, you can't put Nettie in a box.
Ooh, speak. Oh my gosh. How did you know that? Did I tell you that story?
Nah, go ahead.
My best friend told me you can't keep Sunshine in a box. That's what he said. Because he used to call me Sunshine.
Right.
But you can't. Thank you. See, clarification. Yep. Always clarification.
Now the only thing is, again, for listening is to inspire and to come alongside her with the coaching. Like I say that Maria showed me to get into the schools, And then, I have my guppy outlines and my things that I've developed. How do I develop that for this particular learning institution? But it's Community Kevin Rolling their network that's going in for the agreement and the contract. So I've told you that. Your friend told you your sunshine. So now that's why today's episode, if you're listening, because if you're amazing and you're smart
and strong,
what's preventing you from doing it besides the fact that the thinking that you have to just do nonprofit to do what you need to do, because at the end of the day, we do have to look out for our own well-being and our own the way that we live a comfortable life at the same time, right? You're not looking at it for the check, you're looking at it from the passion, but you can get,
Yeah, I do a lot a other things too, just to keep my income supplemented. There's other things.
I worked on a boat. I gave up weekends. I worked twilights. I do know.
You know about it, right?
But again, as you're building your reps and getting your repetition, like you said, you're over there with CARP, right? So that gave you the reps and confidence that you need to, or I was writing it down, your little portfolio builder,
Yeah. Yes.
I remember listening to, I watched that movie, Meet the Parents, and Gaylord Fokker was saying, what he was doing. And Owen Wilson was like, oh yeah, I'd like to check out your portfolio. I could help you build it. And I was like, what's a portfolio? What's the difference between a portfolio and a resume, right? A portfolio was like, oh, so I didn't even know what that word portfolio was. I thought it was like something you look through like pictures. Here's my picture portfolio. Mm-hmm. But when you build up your portfolio, and I teach that to, right, and I teach this to my students, right? Like, you're not just building a resume with Rolling the Network. You have a portfolio that you could take with you. Here's a letter of recommendation, but you've built a portfolio versus just a resume. And that's what I think you have with the schools. Now just getting you to take that and walk in confidently with that confidence you got from building, from working out. And that's what training does too, is that when you said about the gym, is those people that you're training, those kids, you're really just boosting your confidence. And that's what kind of gets you addicted to it, because now if I did 10 pounds, I could do 15 pounds lifting it. If I walked half a mile, I could walk a full mile if I just keep pushing it and stay consistent.
Well, and the physiological part of it is it's a real thing in our body, like the dopamines and the things that we get from other ways, like, with our phone, the things that happen in our body physiologically when we work out is a real thing. The chemicals that are released in our brain, that's why we feel good when we work out. That's why we our moods are bright, and that's why we're in a better, space after we work out because of the dopamines, the things that
healthy people don't call out of work. So
right?
if your people are calling out sick and I can't make it in today, I got these sore triceps, and no one ever,
and how I teach,
Nettie, I can't lift the backpack. I got sore triceps and shoulders. How I
teach that to the kids, and so that they can understand it, is I tell them about, imagine that dolphins live in their brain, like endorphins and dolphins. That's the great
thing about
right?
kids, because they still have imagination. Some adults are like, what are you talking about?
No, absolutely. The kids have so much imagination, and that's just another topic that I could go on about watching the kids and give them free time to do the things that they've learned in the class and then show it to other kids. Mm-hmm. So endorphins. And I talk to them about when they're sitting around and, just kind of like lounging, not doing too much, the dolphins are kind of hanging out. Like I just build a picture for them to
Go
see
dolphins.
It. And when they start jumping around and moving and running and stuff, the dolphins get up and they start running and jumping too, so that they can get an idea of that something's really happening within their body. That's why they feel excited when they start exercising and getting their bodies moving.
So if you could take that, this is what they say, if you could teach kids, you could teach anybody. So if you have all this skill working with the kids and answering all those questions and keeping their attention span, if you apply that to your Nettie Fit Fitness, we're going to help you get, summer's coming. And I think right now there's a super, that word's funny. There is a bus for people trying to get in shape. You don't got to be ideally stage ready presence, but just to, for your own energy and your breathing and hiking. But because of I go to the gym, man, it looks like the numbers are up. Like people are paying back close to their attention, and work, like the work doesn't just exhaust them. Then all you're doing is go to work and pay your bills. It's like, no, I need to work on me. That's the biggest thing right now. Wellness.
Well, health is wealth. If you don't have your health, what's the point? I think
what I'm saying is, like, sorry, let me jump in. It's just like people prioritizing their fitness for it's a boom right now. So if you come in with this right now, like
wellness, it's important, not just for our
we know that, but does that mean people are getting off the couch? And I just see more people getting off the couch. Sorry, I'm just jumping in again, but I know, because people all these people are at the gym, and I can't, like, bro, you're at the gym. That's how you gonna get mad at people being at the gym? It's 5 o'clock. Look at all these kids. Well, if they're out riding their bicycle, could cuss at them for that. Well, if they're doing, it's like, you guys don't. Those are just people that are getting nagged. But seeing people at the gym utilizing the equipment is great. I don't mind waiting, but I'm just saying, it seems like it's not just New Year's. It was before New Year's that people, I think, coming out of being stuck in your home, stuff like that, people riding their bikes at the beaches. We talked to Carlos about bike riding the other day about that, and the increase of things like that. Just, it's an era right now of people
wellness. Yeah. And Nettie Fit Fitness is about, I want to reach people too, that they want to move, they just don't know what to do. Like, not everybody is like Kevin and I. Not everybody loves to go to the gym, and not everybody loves to lift weights like we do. We love that, but some people still want to move, like, and still do things. And you can do, one of my taglines is fitness anywhere, but yeah.
And here's the thing for Nettie, because we're going to wrap it up here soon, is that the coaching and development that you could utilize will cut back on time wasted. So what I mean by that is, if you had a coach, I got a coach right now. I'm paying money. I'm paying money for a coach right now to help dial up my nutrition and stay accountable a bit more. And then also this app I have shows me, Kev, last week, because I don't like legs. But if I'm seeing that my legs are getting stronger, then I'm willing to put on another 10 pounds on the weight at the leg machine, just to beat my previous PR, or my own, just to see if I could push
personal
myself
best
10 more pounds or something, right? So development and training, and saying, well, I've tried it over and over again, I did it on my own. When you have somebody that's helping coaching you, you're going to get better results. And that's just the truth.
Hands down. When I had a workout partner, I could train a lot different. It was very, it's important to have somebody and to be accountable, because we, at the end of the day, have to be accountable to ourselves. But when we have somebody to be accountable for, it makes a difference.
Well, at least to help you get going too, right? So if you're, you might stop after your first month because you don't see the results. You think that time's going to reverse itself in 1 month that you have neglected 15 years of, right? That doesn't work that way. So again, by setting it up to say, I'm going to give this 3, 4, or 6 months with somebody, then it gives you the time to see that transformation start. And that's kind of what helps keep you hooked as well, right? You're not there forever, but sometimes you'll give up before you see the transformation start to happen. And that's just people.
I think the best manager or the best coach is when the person that you're managing or the person that you're coaching can do what you do better than you. That's when you're doing a good job. Because if you're really a good trainer or a good coach, you want your person to elevate. Okay. You don't want them to be reliant on
you want them to leave the nest. That's what I tell them. When I would
yeah,
sign
you
them
want
up,
yeah,
you can't be in the nest with me forever.
Yeah,
you got to be able to take off and fly on your own in 6 months or a year.
Yeah, because then they're going to already they're going to talk about the things that they learned from you. But ultimately, that's when you have a good coach or a good team is that when they're encouraging you so that they could be like you or better, right? Because that's how it grows. That's how it it gets that's how it grows, and that's how people grow, and that's how we help each other.
That's how your arms grow.
That's how you get those cuts,
those gains.
So Kevin and I, what's great about us, besides that we both are founders and are serving the community and serving kids, is that we help each other. Like in this situation, he's educating me and teaching me about another opportunity that I might be able to use the skills that I have.
I think the reason maybe.
No, see, hey, power of words. He and I help each other. I helped him with the certificate of teaching credential and just shared that with him. I've shared other things with him. Like we always talk about things that are working, things that we're doing with the grants, this and that, the other things, the nonprofit thing, the for-profit thing, the training thing. But we talk a lot about a lot of different things. We talk about our faith. We share a lot of things, which is awesome because we can literally have a talk about so many different topics that we are both involved in.
Because if you talk about that at all, it goes hand in hand. Dedication and discipline, faith to chase your dream, God's will, when doors close or don't answer, because the reason that we have those kind of conversations, Annette, is because there's your mind, we have the similar type of emotional thoughts going through entrepreneurship.
Faith.
When things happen, faith.
Commitment.
What are you going to put? Commitment. Are you, where's your thing at? Did you write your list down and did you go back but just like you're going to tell your client, well, let's see your nutritional plan. Let's see your workout plan. Let's see your business plan. Like there's got to be a plan. And then you got to follow up on it. You got to stay consistent in it, right? Just kind of like the Bible. If you're staying close to the word, you're more likely to perform that way, right? Same thing with business. If you continue to stay around other influential business type minded people and you're fellowshipping alongside them and you have strong faith, so that way if the door does close, you could say, hey, that must mean the season's changing. You don't get depressed. You're going to have an emotion for a minute, but how do you get through that so there's a bunch of other things that come along with it that you're able to understand that maybe I can't talk to everybody else about, or other people, or just that same group of people that understand that emotional roller coaster that comes with entrepreneurship. And then if you put nonprofit entrepreneurship behind it, it's a whole nother racket. You want to test your faith, start a nonprofit. We're going to write a book. That's what it's going to be called. But that's why we were able to talk that way, because it's an encouragement conversation in the same realms that we take part in, because you need it. You can't have a business and be inconsistent, right? You can't have a business and kind of put a little bit of love into it, a little bit of faith. Like you got to go all in. You know what I mean? And then again, because if you look at business, like you say with training, I tried it for a month and then I quit. I tried it for a month and then I stopped. I didn't know what I wanted to do and then I stopped, right? Same thing with business. Same thing people put in their fitness goals, right? Well, I gave it a try. I started in January. I broke up, so I tried to look out for me, but then I went back to eating my old habits. Like it's a habit shifting, right?
It's a lifestyle.
Consistency.
Yeah. I mean, I was invited to speak at the youth group at a church one day, and I got this lesson downloaded to me, and it was the comparison of physical and spiritual fitness, and they're paralleled, because first you choose, right? You got to make the choice. Like you're choosing to follow God, and you're choosing to do fitness. And then you got to commit to it. You commit to what you have to do to learn about it, right? You learn about your exercise, you learn about your nutrition, you start reading, you start learning a little bit, who is God, who is Jesus, who is all the things, right? And then your consistency, and then the end is transformation. Like, so the physical and spiritual fitness have such parallels, and I was able to deliver that to the kids, right? Because you have to be committed. First you make the choice, you're committed, you're consistent, and then you see the change or the transformation. And that recipe is for everything in your life. Yeah.
Well, again, if you stick business in the middle of that, right?
Yeah,
because again, being in business, you got to have that commitment, because again, knowing that you're getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, you can go to work and huff it and get a full day's pay if you only gave up half your. But then again, there's some scripture about that, right? He gave the denarian to the people that only worked 1 hour versus people that worked all day. But that's we won't get into preaching.
Different topic.
But the point of that is consistency, making a choice, commitment, following through, and staying emerge. I'll tell you this. We talked about this at our church the other day. You know where the word pickling comes from? It's in the scripture, but you know where it comes from? It means submerged. That's what pickling means. So you submerge those cucumbers into the juice and you get a pickle. So if you submerge yourself in the Lord, you submerge yourself in how you take care of your nutrition and your fitness, you submerge yourself in business, you submerge yourself in the things that you love to do, you're pickled. But that's what pickle means. So if you're not submerging yourself in those types of things that you love to do, it's going to be hard. That's why I make sure, again, we tell you, do what you love what you do. Annette, you do what you love what you do. All we're trying to say and give you the encouragement is to take yourself and go follow Nettie Fit Fitness, not give up just a nonprofit, but let's pursue you into the abundance that awaits you out here for the work that you bring.
I receive that.
Amen. All right. Hallelujah. That's going to do it for today. I got to get to Carpinteria
School. Is there a web presence for Nettie Fit Fitness?
Pardon?
A web presence, a website or anything that you can give
There
out?
is not a web presence yet.
Okay. Where can they go for more information?
They can email me at nettiefitfitness@gmail.com.
Or if you check out A Heart of an Angel just to get the concepts and ideas of what she's doing, there's an outline there.
Pretty much,
right?
Yeah.
So you could see what she's doing and who she is. And then as she's putting their stuff together, that for her fitness side, you'll know that it's going to be great because if she's dominating over here, she's only going to dominate here and she can work across the board with her value. Right?
So it's a heartofanangel.org. And we are A Heart of an Angel on Instagram, A Heart of an Angel. Thank you, Kevin, for having me.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to growing this other side and just, facilitating these other opportunities to do the same thing, but just under a different umbrella.
Right. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
All right. We're going to let you guys go. Barry, get us up out of here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.